Hello and welcome to the Wanderlust Professor Yoga video yoga series. My mission is to help you find a self-care fitness practice to increase your physical health and well-being. Please consult your doctor before beginning any exercise program. In today's practice, we will be focusing in on planks. So this is going to engage your core and really generate some heat. So at any time during this practice, you feel as though it's become too much, you can always come down to a child's pose or dial back the intensity of any of the poses. Because we're going to be doing planks, we're going to be putting a lot of pressure on our wrists. If you have any issues with your wrists, you could always come to your knuckles or you can come down to your forearms. Remember to respect your body. If at any point you feel any burning or stinging or stabbing pain, that's a sign that you need to dial back the intensity, that your body is saying, we need to stop, I'm about to be hurt. Take the time to respect your body and what it's telling you. Let's begin our practice. Let's go ahead and find a comfortable position on your back. Now that could be completely reclined with your legs extended. It could be with your feet on the floor. Just find a comfortable position for you. Close your eyes. Relax your muscles and begin to clear your mind. During this practice today, we're going to be pushing ourselves. Plank is a very challenging pose, and we're going to revisit it often. Allow yourself the opportunity to be challenged. Challenge yourself physically and mentally, energetically. If you want to give yourself an additional challenge, you want to set a dedication for this practice, an intention, now is a beautiful time to do so. And while we're here thinking about this practice in the next hour that we have together, I encourage you to focus in on your mat, you and your mat. Allow all the other thoughts of the day to kind of disappear while we're on our mat together today. If thoughts come in throughout the practice, put them in a bubble and allow them to be released. You have another 12 hours today to deal with everything else that's on your agenda. Take note of your breath. Are you breathing quickly? Did you have to hurry to get to your mat for this practice? Are you breathing evenly? Do you have a nice even inhale and exhale? If you were to count it, are they on the same count? During our practice today, if you become overwhelmed or if it becomes too challenging, refocus in on that breath. Can you make it even again? Can you do a 4 count, 4 inhale to a 4 exhale? Could you do it to a 3? Could you extend that breath to even a 5 or a 6 count? Focusing in on the breath allows your mind to focus in on a particular item and allows all of the other things to disappear. And take 2 more inhales together. And when you're ready, roll to your right side and press yourself up to a seated position. We're first going to begin by rolling our neck. So if you have any issues in your neck, you might only want to take a half roll. or you could always just roll to the left or the right, whatever works best for you. We're going to do 5 to the right and 5 to the left. So we're going to take our chin, we're going to trace it up our wall on our right, across our ceiling, down the wall to our left, and across the floor. We're going to do that 5 to the right and then 5 to the left. We're going to meet back in center. Go ahead and move with your breath and at your own pace. Beautiful. Now let's extend our arms out in front of us, palms together. Interlace your fingers and turn your palms out. Just getting a little bit of a stretch in our forearms. Might even feel some stretching through the back side of your shoulders. You can roll your shoulders a little forward to get a little bit more of a deeper stretch across your back. Release. We're going to keep our palms together, fingers interlaced, and we're going to rotate our wrists to the right and to the left. So let's do some circles. And then switch, and then back in the opposite direction. From here, release your hands, and we're coming into tabletop. So we're on both our hands and our knees. And for tabletop, we want our wrists directly underneath our shoulders and our knees directly underneath our hips. And we've got our fingers nice and wide planted on our mat. We've got the tops of our feet pressing down into the mat, so we're engaging our legs as well. They're not just hanging out here. So we're going to just kind of rock forward and back, moving just a little bit forward, not too much, just a little bit back. So forward and back. And then we're going to rotate our fingers out to the sides of our mat. And forward and back again. And then turn your fingers to face you. And we're just going to do forward and back again. And then this time, if your anatomy allows, we're going to turn the tops of our hands down and just the lightest bit of pressure, not very much pressure at all, just to kind of give ourselves a little bit of a stretch in our wrists. Very, very little pressure. Beautiful. Release and come back into tabletop. From here, we're coming into cat-cow. And so for cow, we're going to drop our belly down towards the mat, take our gaze out in front of us, and we're going to press our shoulder blades together on the back side of our body. And this is an inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to round our spine up towards the ceiling, spreading those shoulder blades across the back side of our body, and our gaze is down at the mat. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And one more time. Inhale and exhale. Wonderful. Come back to a neutral spine. And this time we're going to do some counterbalancing. So inhale your right arm and extend your left leg. We're going to hold this. And lower back down. Left arm, right leg. And back down. Right arm, left leg. And back down. Left arm, right leg. And back down. So from tabletop, we're going to curl our toes. We're going to just press up a little bit and hover our knees off the mat. You might feel some stretching in your toes, and that's what we're going for. This is just engaging our body and starting to warm up our core. And back down. Leave your toes curled, and we're going to sit back towards our feet and just stretching out our toes. You can release your toes, place them flat on the mat, and then sit back on them just for a different stretch in your feet. From here, come back to tabletop, curl your toes under, and we're going to press our seat up and back for down dog. So we've been warming up our body, but we need to warm up our legs. So we're going to just pedal out our feet just to get some movement into our legs. So pedal back and forth and take 5 rounds of breath here. And come to walk to the front of your mat. Forward fold. And just hang here. If you want to, you can go ahead and grab a hold of each of your opposite elbows and just kind of dangle here. From inhale, arms up overhead. We're going to sit back into our chair. So for chair, we have our feet directly underneath our hips. So if we look down, our feet should be directly underneath our knees. Taking our seat back like we're in a chair. We have our arms at a cactus or goalpost, and we're pressing our shoulder blades together on the back side of our bodies. And press up through your chair, arms overhead, hinging at the waist, fold forward. Plant your hands and step back for plank. So let's talk about correct alignment for plank. For plank, we want our wrists directly underneath our shoulders, and we want a straight line from our heels all the way up through our crown. We don't want our bottom up in the air, and we don't want it down like this. Nice, straight, strong spine. From here, press back to down dog. We're going to take your right foot up to the sky. Then we're going to bring your right knee to meet your right elbow. Extend back up. Your right knee to meet your nose. Extend back up. And your right knee to meet your left elbow. Extend back up. Plant your foot. Step back for down dog. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So take your left foot to the sky. Bring your left knee to your left elbow. Extend back out. Your left knee to your nose. Extend back out. And your left knee to your right elbow. Extend back out. Lower your leg. Drop your knees. Take your knees the width of your mat. Sit back for child's pose. And focus in on that breath. Do you have a nice even breath still? Remember, we were talking about that in Shavasana. Are you breathing a nice equal 4-4 or a 3-3? If not, how can you regain that nice equal breath again? So while we're in child's pose, take your right arm and thread it underneath your left. And lower the right side of your face down to your mat. And come back to center. Take your left arm, thread it underneath your right, and lower the left side of your face down to the mat. And come back to center. Coming back into tabletop. From here, curl your toes, press back up for down dog. Walk to the front of your mat. Forward fold again. Reverse swan dive, arms up overhead, and sit back in your chair. This time, can you rock up to your toes? And lower back down, press back up, forward fold, plant your hands, step back for plank. Back for down dog. Take your right foot up to the ceiling. Bring your right knee to your right elbow. Extend back out. Right knee to your nose. Extend back out. And your right knee to your left elbow. Extend back out. And lower back down. Take your left foot to the ceiling. Bring it to your right elbow. Extend back out. Your nose. Extend back out. And to your elbow. Extend back out. Lower back down. And come back into child's pose. And reflect again on that breath. Has your breathing sped up any? We've been doing some work on the core. Has that breath sped up? Are you continuing to breathe as you're moving through those poses? 2 more rounds of breath. All right, and press back up to tabletop. So from here, bring your right foot to meet your hands at the front of your mat. Curl your back toes under and press up for low lunge. Coming up to high lunge. Extend your arms overhead. Now let's dip our back knee back down to the mat and uncurl our toes. We still have our right foot in front. We're going to rock back Now, if you have blocks here, you can certainly use them to support yourself. We have our knee, our heel planted on the mat. And come back forward, and then rock back again. And then one more time, rock forward and then back. You might feel some activation in your back leg, and you might feel some stretching in the front. And come back. From here, we're going to press back up to that high lunge. So curl your toes, bring your torso up. Now we're going to rotate our back foot coming on to both our heel. We're turning it at roughly a 45-degree angle. Now, depending on your hip structure will depend on how you need to place this foot. We want to take our hip bones and turn them towards the long edge of our mat. We're going to extend our arms to the front and back of our mat, checking for alignment. Then drop your back arm down your leg and inhale your front arm overhead. Take a couple of rounds of breath here. Now come back to center. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Bring your front leg behind you. And now we are going into a side plank. So in order to do that, we're going to transfer all of the weight to our right arm, rotate our feet to the side, and inhale our left arm. Into Cobra. So for Cobra, we're going to plant and press down through the tops of our feet. Inhale our hands, so our hands are hovering. And on our inhale, we're raising our torso and our chest off the mat. And our exhale, lower back down. I'm going to do that one more time. So hover your hands, inhale your chest, and lower back down. Curl your toes and press yourself back up to tabletop. Now I'm going to rotate because we're going to do the opposite side. So from tabletop, we're going to press ourselves up to down dog. Drop your knees to the mat. And this time, bring your left foot forward. Curl your toes. From low lunge to high lunge. Lower your back knee down to the mat. Uncurl your toes, and we're moving through splits. So if you have your blocks, grab your blocks for support. We have our heel planted on the mat, and we're sitting back. So a nice stretch. Might feel some activation in your quads, and you might feel a nice stretch on the back side of your leg. So rock forward and back. Rock forward and back. And rock forward and back. From here, come forward, press through your toes, press up for low lunge, come into high lunge, come onto your full foot, rotating your toes at about a 45-degree angle to your mat. Take your hip bones to the long edge of your mat. Inhale your arms to the front and the back of your mat. You are still bending in to that front knee. Drop your back hand down your leg. Inhale your arm up overhead. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Step your front foot back. We're going to transfer the weight to our left arm, rotating onto the sides of our feet, and extend our right overhead. Go ahead and bring that right arm down. Drop your knees and sit back for child's pose again. Once again, refocus in on that breath. Are you breathing evenly? Are you breathing throughout each pose? Are you holding your breath unconsciously? One more round of breath. And press yourself back up to tabletop. From here, take your legs back behind you, coming into plank. This time we're going to do knee taps. So tap your knees, right and left. And then press yourself up for down dog. Shifting back into plank. This time, we're going to take our legs out wide. So toe taps to the side. Back to center. Press back up for down dog. And this time come forward back into plank again. And this is going to be a long hold plank. Beautiful. Lower your knees. Sit back. Take your knees the width of your mat. Sit back. And this time we're coming into embryo. So we've got our forehead down on the mat and our arms are behind us and not extended in front. Refocus in on that breath. Are you breathing evenly? Are you breathing more quickly now? Can you even out your breath? Coming back into tabletop again. From here, curl your toes and press up for down dog. Bring your right foot forward between your hands. Pressing up into high lunge. So I'm going to rotate this way because we're doing our right side. So when we're in high lunge, we're bending into our front leg. When we have our knee bent, we can still see our big toes. We're on the toes of our back foot. When we have our arms up overhead, we have our shoulders dropped away from our ears. If you need to take your stance a little wider for stability, you can totally do that. From here, rotate your back foot into your warrior 3 position and drop your hands to the front and the back of your mat. Coming into reverse warrior, drop your hand down your back leg, inhale your front arm overhead. Coming back into center. If you have a block, this is a great time to grab them. You might want 2. Okay, so we're in our warrior 2 position. We're going to transfer our weight to our front leg, placing our hand on our back, on our block, taking that back leg off the mat, and we're bringing this hip up towards the ceiling, extending our leg out behind us, flexing our foot, and we're using our block for stability if you can't reach the floor. We're inhaling our arm overhead. So we're opening up here. And then we're going to drop this hip, level out our hips. So across our back, we're nice and flat, and we're moving into our squats. So I'm using both of my blocks for stability here. So I'm taking this back leg with my hips squared off to the mat, and I'm going to drop my left foot to the right side of my mat, press back up, lower back down, press back up, lower back down, press back up, lower back down, and press back up, lower back down, and press back up. Lower your foot, and just hang heavy. If you want to grab a hold of opposing elbows, and just sway here. Feel into your body, feel into that stretch. You do not have to have straight legs. You can bend your knees. All right. From there, move all my stuff. From your forward fold, plant your hands and lower yourself down to the mat, because we need to do the same thing on the other side. So from here, we're going to come into tabletop, curl our toes, press up for down dog. Inhale your left leg to the sky and bring it through to your hands. Pressing up, coming into your high lunge. Rotate your back foot and coming into warrior 2. Making sure to rotate in that hip joint and your hips to the long edge of your mat. Slide your arm down your back leg. Take a couple rounds of breath here. Coming back into center. Now this time we're transferring our weight to our left front standing leg. So if you have those blocks, go ahead and grab them. Transferring our weight to our left standing leg. We're rotating our hip open to the ceiling. Taking our shoulder up to the ceiling as well. Have our foot flexed so that our toes are coming towards our face. And we have inhaled our right arm up to the ceiling. From here, lower your arm down and then square off your hips by rotating them back so that they're level with the mat. Then from here, we're going to cross our right foot to the left side of our mat, coming into our squat. Inhale back up, exhale down, inhale back up, exhale down, inhale back up, exhale down, and inhale up, exhale back down. Press back up, lower your right leg down, bending through your knees, come into a forward fold and just hang. Refocus in on your breath. And remember, you don't have to have straight legs. You can always bend into your knees. From here, plant your hands and lower yourself down to your mat. We're coming into our cool down section. So come on down to your stomach. And we're going to do some shoulder stretches here. So place your right arm out to your side like it's making a T. And we're going to rotate onto our right side, leaving that arm out in a T. You can take your left leg, cross it over that right, just to give you a little bit more leverage. If this becomes uncomfortable, you can always dial back the intensity. If you have a block or a pillow, you can always use that to support your head. And you can always bend at your elbow, and that will change a little bit of that stretch. It might increase the intensity that you feel. Roll back, and we're going to do the same thing on the left. So extend your left arm out to the side and roll onto your left side. And if you want to take up the intensity, you can always bend at the elbow to get another stretch. And roll back onto your stomach. And we're coming into cat's tail. So for cat's tail, we're going to take our left leg out to the side, making a 90-degree angle with our body. We're going to take our left hand and we're going to reach around and grab our right foot. Now, depending on where you hold your foot is going to depend on the type of stretch that you feel. And we're going to take our right arm and extend it overhead and use it as a pillow. Now you can always press up a little bit to change your angle, rolling off of your stomach, or you can stay flat on your stomach, whatever is most comfortable for you. So play with this, play with your hand placement. Listen to what your body is telling you and where you feel the stretch. Slowly release and allow your foot to return back to the mat. Bring your left leg in and extend your right leg out. So we're making a 90-degree with our right leg. We're going to use our left arm as a pillow this time, and we're going to take our right hand and reach it to our left foot. Slowly release and come back onto your stomach. We're moving into a floor bow. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our left hand and grab our left foot and our right hand and grab our right foot. We have our knees about a fist width distance apart. We don't want them all wide. We want to keep them nice and tight together. And when we inhale, we're going to inhale both our knees and our chest off of the mat. So inhale. We're pressing through our feet into our hands. And then exhale back down. Inhale back up. Exhale back down. And one more. Inhale back up. And exhale back down. Slowly release and roll onto your back. So we're going to do a spinal twist. So I'm going to give you two different options. One of them is twisted roots, and one of them is just a wide mat. So take your feet the width of the mat, and then we're just going to drop both knees to the right side of the mat. That's one option. If you want to go for twisted roots, take your left leg, cross it over your right, pick up your hips, place them on the left, and we're going to drop that left knee to the right side of your mat. Take either twist that feels best for you. Slowly release and allow your knees to come back to center. If you want to hug your knees into your chest and do a little roll with your low back, take a couple rounds of breath here. And then lower your feet back down to the mat. Now you have that same variation on the opposite side. Now if you took the first variation, if you want to feel a little bit deeper stretch, you can always take this front foot, take it and press it or lay it on top of the back knee just to give a little bit more leverage to get a little bit deeper into it. If you took the second variation of twisted roots, this time we're going to take our right leg, cross it over the left, pick our hips up to the right side of our mat, and drop our right knee to the left side of the mat. Slowly release and bring your knees back to center. Hug your knees into your chest and roll out your lower back. Take a couple rounds of breath. And lower your feet back down to the mat. Coming into our final pose before Shavasana. So we have our feet planted on the mat. They're about 8 to 10 inches away from our seat. We're going to take our palms and place them flat on the mat. Our gaze is up towards the ceiling. We're going to press in through our heels, raise our torso off of the mat so our stomach is coming up towards the ceiling. Pressing through our hands, scooting our shoulder blades a little closer together on the back side of our body. And then our inhale comes up, our exhale, slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. We're going to do that again. So inhale up, pressing through those heels. And exhale back down. And then one more. So pressing through those heels, raise the abdomen towards the ceiling and exhale back down. From here, come into a comfortable position for Shavasana. So if you have props or pillows at home, go ahead and pull those out. You want to extend your legs out on your mat, or if you're more comfortable with your feet flat, you can even roll to one side if that's more comfortable for you. So find a comfortable position for Shavasana. Begin to relax your brow. Release your tongue from the roof of your mouth and soften your jaw. Return back to your normal breath. Melt your abdomen into the mat. Release all the tension from your legs and become one with the earth. We'll be in Shavasana for the next few minutes. Begin to bring your awareness back into the room. Follow your breath in and out. Settle back into your body. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and begin to wake up your arms. Reach your arms above your head for a good morning stretch. Take one more deep breath, becoming revitalized and full of energy. And when you're ready, roll to your right side and press yourself up to a seated position. Let's take one more round of breath together. Inhale your arms up overhead, palms together, and down through heart center. Let me leave you with this thought. Follow your heart. Enjoy the little things. Be spontaneous. Believe in yourself. Your life is now. Thank you for joining me today, and namaste.